Morning everybody, good afternoon, sorry about that. I'm here on the top of Swansea and the Canda. Beautiful place, lovely view. I just like pan out and just have a look around here, and we see all commercial buildings and we see many houses. Down here is where it starts. Throughout here now, in these houses somewhere there will be children that are being abused through this family process. People split up all the time. Children shouldn't be involved in it. They should be kept clean out of it, but unfortunately this is what happens. It's a process. This is something that I'm doing off the cuff. I thought about it early hours this morning, and I thought I'm gonna put it out there to all of you, the public and everything, so you can understand what's going on. It's going to be in phrases, in different frames. This is the first one. This is where it all happens. Right out here in this city, and every city throughout the UK, children are being abused by family courts, and it starts with the parent that decides to bring the children into it by making false allegations, just so they can get legal aid. Gives them a big up in the family courts for the legal aid process when they get non-molestation orders, restraining orders, false DV, all these things. For the moment, we're going to pause off this while we go to the next location. Alright everybody, here we are, phase 2. This here is the place, police stations throughout the UK, where you're dragged in on false allegations, where the children are used as weapons again. It's an unfortunate trail of events that happens through this process. What we're trying to do is get out there the process that many parents go through, what they class as non-resident parents have to go through, while the resident parents take their time in abusing the children in the way that they do, with false allegations and everything else. Many may be lucky to stop here with no further action from the police and their resources used, yet we never see that any of them that use these resources with the police ever getting convicted of wasting family police time, which is something that many other people would get done for under normal circumstances. So it drains the resources of the police also. I'd like to pan across just over to the road here now, which brings us to the Magistrates Court, whereas if these allegations are brought and they are taken, the CPS do take them up, that is where you're most likely to end up. Three things that mainly come from this with the exes for legal aid is: one, a conviction of DV, or even just having the DV, a molestation order, or a restraining order. These are the three of the most favourite things they have. You can also end up with a PIN notice from the police station. But there we are, and that is where you may end up. It could even end up into a Crown Court. Normally there would be a trial in the Magistrates Court, where again you could have an acquittal or a not guilty, or whatever the case may be, from the false allegations from the exes that used the children again as weapons for their gain through family court. I'd like to stop and pause you now again at the moment while we go to the next phase of what goes on through this process. So please join us in a couple of minutes when we get to the next location. Thank you all. Here I am again, phase 3. I'm here at the Guildhall, which is here in Swansea, and this is where inevitably, when the false allegations are made and the police have arrived, these people in here get called in, the local authorities, the social services, child and family, yet this is where it starts with the actual abuse that goes on through family courts. Right here in this building is the Department of Social Services that jump on board, they get manipulated, uneducated in this whatsoever, and children are used and abused constantly every day of the week, and allowed and promoted by these here social services that work in the best interest of the children, that state the risk of emotional harm or risk of future emotional harm, with no evidence of this whatsoever. None. Zero evidence. An uneducated system. This has to stop. This is why we have been carrying on with this campaign for nearly 18 months. And we've been up and down the country, outside courthouses and everything else. Right here, people. This is where child and family, this is what they say child and family is. Yet they don't work in the best interest of the children and families. More help is needed for families, not destroying families, not pushing families apart through family courts. More help is needed. Resources here, human resources here are wasted through false allegations and from one parent that manipulates a system, and it needs to change. Right? And I'll leave you again at the moment while we go to stage 4. Thank you all. Again, okay, we're on phase 4 of this now. This is where your exes get involved with social services, they manipulate the social services, and no doubt before you even get the family court, this is your next step, if you're lucky, where you end up going to. It's the Family Contact Centre, independent, it's run charity based. This is where you're likely to be paying anything from 40, 50 quid every single week for 1 hour at a time to see the children in a little room, watched over by the googly eyes of also uneducated people in this system that need to be educated as well. Also, as you are aware, with the educational DVD, we are pushing to educate schools and everything else. But this inevitably is one of the stages. It's demands, where your exes demand that you are in a supervised contact centre, and this is where you're likely to end up in the supervised contact centre due to demand, manipulation, and the perpetrators carry on with that. Anyway, thank you again. We're off to phase 5. Okay, here we are. This is Swansea. Swansea Civil Justice Centre Family Courts. Family Justice. Trying to figure out where, but hey ho. Right here, this is where the heartbreak happens. This is where the tears happen. This is where the money goes. This is where everything goes tits up. Excuse it, but that's the phrase, only phrase I can use for the children right behind these doors. This is where the abuse really starts to happen, where the whole system is promoting the child abuse that's happening with the children throughout the UK. It's time for change, people. It's not a case of let's hope and pray that it comes. It is time that change does come. Uneducated here as well. Judges that are uneducated in anything to do with parental alienation and the child abuse that goes on. These children should not be allowed to go through this. Most children never even step foot through these doors of these courts because they're too young to be brought into these courts. The doors are closed. It's all shut down behind you. And this is where the heartbreak really happens. This is where people run the risk of taking their lives. This is where they lose their businesses, their homes, their shirts off their backs. This is where it all happens, people. Right here, where they banter back and forth with each other, with the lawyers, CASCAP, social services, yes. This is where CASCAP are brought into it as well. Right here in family courts. Children should not be used as weapons. This should be disbanded throughout the whole UK. Parental alienation should be made against the law, and a system should be educated. The sooner the better for the children that are getting abused right here today. Anyway, that's it for the moment. This is just a short run through on what happens to all this throughout this whole process, and it is truly heartbreaking for non-resident parents where they get false allegations and everything else, and it is truly heartbreaking for the children right at the bottom of this. And we cannot forget the children, and we cannot forget the people who have fallen. Please, please help us. Thank you all.